All right, gentlemen, here is the at-home suggestions for getting started with your Adobe account at home. The first thing you need to do is actually type in on your browser, I use Chrome, but you can use whatever you want, the adobe.com. Okay, that'll take you here to this view, and then you want to go to the far right where it says sign in. And here's where you're going to type your STX Tigers email, because that's the one that I gave to Mr. McElroy. So, oh, so, no, I'm the other one. Let's see. Martin J. Oops. J. Well, if I could type at stxtigers.com. Okay. Fingers are slow tonight. All right. Now you hit continue. And it's going to ask for a password, which we don't know yet because you haven't set one. So down here at the bottom, you will either see reset password, maybe you might see forget password. One of those two you'll click, and then it will prompt you to reset it, and it will actually send you an email to your STX Tigers email. So that means on your iPad you'll have to look at the email. It'll give you a little code, and you type in the code, and then it lets you reset your password. Okay, so you're going to have to make it a password that you're going to remember. We aren't going to know it. Mr. McElroy can't find it. So this has to be something that you are going to write down, keep it somewhere, and know what it is. All right, let me see if mine, well, nope, I didn't do it right because I was talking at the same time. Let me see if that does it. Ta-da! Okay. So once you go back and forth with the little email and you set it to what you want it to be, you'll log in, okay? And you'll see this. You'll see your name show up over here with the little kind of icon that says you're working on here. Okay. What you're going to do from here is you're going to go all the way up into the top right to this waffle menu. You know, the world of Google has taught us what waffle menus are. So we're going to click on these. This just shows that there's apps there for us to click on. We want to scroll down here to where it says View All Apps. Alright, this is going to end up being somewhat of a familiar view that if you're at school, if you're somebody who comes to school for the class, you'll end up seeing this view a few times as we set up things at school. And sometimes if it tells us that there is a need to update or to do something for either of our files that we're working with. So the two things that we're going to load, and what I would only suggest doing is loading one of them at a time, unless you have a newer computer that you want to, you know, that doesn't have a lot of stuff on it. I run both on my computer, but you don't have to. But you're going to hit the install button, and then you're going to go, this is for Illustrator, so you're going to hit the install button for Illustrator, and you'll have a drink, go to the bathroom, grab a snack, come back, text a friend, and then it should be done. Okay, and that will put Illustrator on your computer. Okay, groovy so far. All right, now you will find that under your start menu. Okay, and it should be under Adobe. In here you will see the little Creative Cloud show up. You will probably see this little guy show up. So follow any prompts on your computer as far as loading the Illustrator when it tells you to click it, and when your computer asks you things like, are you sure you want Creative Cloud or Adobe to have access to your computer to download it? You want to say yes. Okay. Now what I do is, if you're working in Windows, I tend to come over here to the menu and I right click and I tell it to pin to the start thingy, okay? And then I end up moving it somewhere where I can click on it a lot faster than having to see it as a small icon. All right, that's just me, so you're welcome to do that if you're working like in Windows 10. That way all you have to do is click on this bad boy, whoop, and he'll open for you when you're ready to work on it. All right, phase 2. Say you're working at home and you've got something that you've designed and you need to save it, and you want to make sure you get it into Google Drive. But this is mom or this is dad's computer, and I can't sync Google Drive to this computer like we're going to do in the classroom. So how do I get my stuff to Google Drive? How do I get it there, and how do I get it from there? Say I'm at school and I save something to my Google Drive. How do I open it here? Good questions. Let's go back to the internet. Okay, I'm going to bypass the Adobe apps. I'm going to hop over and sign into your Google Drive. Like, you can literally type in Google Drive login and you can sign into your STX Tigers Google account. Okay, so I did that. I have signed in on the internet to my Google Drive. Okay, I am now going to create a folder for graphic design work. So if you aren't doing one of these and making one at school, you can do one of these at home. It'll still be there at school back and forth when you see it. But I'd click New and click Folder. And I'm going to make this, because I have so many folders right now, I'm going to put a number 1 in front of it so it falls to the top of all of my junk. And then I'm going to do Graphic Design 1. And you can type the word folder. Whoops. Folder. All right. So now I'm creating a Graphic Design 1 folder. You see I've kind of done this sample a few times. All right. So here's my design folder. So anytime I save something at school or at home that I'm working on, it would be wise to save those things to your graphic design folder. Okay. Now, say I am working on something at home, or I need to work on something at home with Adobe Illustrator, but I don't have Google Drive on my desktop and it's not synced with my computer. Okay, that's okay. Go online, sign into your Google Drive. I'm going to use a different folder right now, my other sample folder. And here's my work. All right, so this little guy here says that he's an Adobe Illustrator. And I know he's Adobe Illustrator because he says AI at the end of him. Okay, this guy, when I hover over him, he tells me he's a JPEG, so he's just a photograph of my work. So if I want to open him up, I should just be able to double click on him, okay, and tell it to open with Adobe Illustrator. Now, if your little guy goes through all these different things and it won't tell you that you have Adobe Illustrator on your computer because it's not smart enough to figure it out and it's trying to find another app, close it out, okay. We're going to go back and I'm going to right click it and I'm going to tell it to download on my computer. Okay, so from here, right click and tell it the download. Right? It's going to show up somewhere down the bottom or in a little pop-up menu from up here that says, what do you want to do? Do you want to open it? Whatever. Okay, so now that it's down here, look, I can see the little AI icon. So I know it's my Adobe Illustrator. I can open it from here. So once you've downloaded it, it will allow you to open it as its file. So if we're still working on Adobe Illustrator and we're going to keep working with this image some more, say I change it, say I do something to this picture, okay, I'm actually going to kind of, I'll zoom in on him here. Say I do something to this picture, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to click on him and I'm going to make, I want his head to be taller. Great. All right, so I did something to this picture. Now I need to save it so maybe I can keep doing things to it when I get to school tomorrow, right? So I'm going to now go File, Save, and it's going to save over, nope, it's going to save to the download, because what we did was we downloaded, right, that file. Yeah, we downloaded it all right. Okay, now to keep it safe, let's close out of these. To keep it safe, I'm going to come to the downloads, because we don't want it to totally get torn apart, taken away. And see, I have my 652 and it's now 653 on my computer, so I can tell that was what I just saved a minute ago. All right, I'm going to take this little guy and I'm going to right click and I'm going to copy him, and I'm going to put him into pictures. Most of what we're making are pictures, right? Okay, so it's kind of logical. I'm just going to save this to my pictures on my computer temporarily, paste it, there it is. Okay, so all I did was copy and paste from downloads, where I just saved it back to, and I put it under pictures on my computer. All right, now I have to get this guy back up on Google Classroom. So let's try that again. I have to get it back up on the Google Drive. There's so many Googles. I have to get it back on Google Drive. So I'm going to come back over here to my Google Drive. Woohoo! All right. And now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to click on New File Upload. Looky there. And it's going to say, I'm going to get it from my pictures. There he is, because I saved him in pictures on my computer, right? And now I'm going to grab him and I'm going to put him back up on Google Drive. Look at that. He's uploading him. And it's going to ask me, do you want to copy over what you had, or do you want to keep it a separate file? I'm going to keep it a separate file. All right. I want to make sure I have the copy of him so that I can see that, you know, I've changed him, I've done something different to him. And I did kind of stretch his head up a little bit more over there. Okay. So I can bring that image back in, right? Okay. And I've got him all saved. Now when I come to school and I open up my Google Drive at school, I can click on it, I can open it at school, and I can keep working with him. I'm hoping this is making some sense. Okay, so to review, we came to adobe.com and we signed in with our STX Tigers, and we hit either reset password or the forget the password, and it prompted us to make a new one. It might have sent you the link to your iPad, in which you had to type in the link number or the little code number, so that it would allow you to reset and make your own password, something that you will remember because nobody else will have access to it to help you out. Okay, we came up to the waffle menu. We clicked on More Apps, and then we installed on your computer the Adobe Illustrator. Took a break, came back. All right. Now we went to graphic design folder, and we created that new folder in Google Drive. So we went to Google Drive on the internet, okay, still on the internet tab, went to Google Drive on the internet, we made ourselves a graphic design folder, okay, and this is going to allow you to be able to save things at school to the Google Drive and to be able to open them up at home. You'll be able to download, right-click and download these files that we're in the middle of working on. So you can have it here on your computer. Where is it? It's in downloads on your computer, right? And then you can right-click on it and tell it to open up. Where's it open with? Or you could double-click at the bottom after you download and double-click, and it will open in Illustrator. Nice. All right. You save whatever work you've done in Illustrator. So whatever work you do in Illustrator, if I change the color of one of the stars, I can change all the color of the stars. Let's pick a different color. Let's pick a different color for the sky. Okay. So say I have changed the sky color, right? Okay. I click File, Save. All right. And that has gone down now back to, look at that, 657, 657. I just did that. I'm going to right click and copy my monster that I just changed. I'm going to put it into pictures. I'm going to copy and paste. And it says, do I want to replace this one? Sure, I'll replace this one. What the heck? There's my new copy of my monster. All right. And then one of the other things you could do instead of copying and pasting is I could take this and I could drag it. New information, crazy. I'm going to keep it as a separate file. I can drag that new copy in there. All right. Look, he's all new. Isn't that wonderful? All right. So every time you go and save, you can copy, you can bring things in. It's wonderful. So you can kind of go back and forth on your devices. Okay. That way you have access at home. You have access at school if you're somebody who comes to school. Okay. So you can work back and forth between our actual items.